Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is August 27th, 2021, and today is Friday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the U.S. market retreating after the first day of the Jackson Hole Symposium, which includes the Federal Reserve discussing its consensus moving forward. Now looking at the major economic events of the day, Day 2 of the Jackson Hole Symposium, that's going to happen all day. But more importantly, at 2:30 South African time out of the United States, we have an important inflationary number coming out, core price index number coming out. So you do want to know what's coming out. Now looking at the various markets, U.S. dollar continues to gain versus the major pairs in the Forex. In terms of the indices, the Nasdaq and the Dow Jones both retreat. In terms of commodities, gold and oil remain steady. And in terms of the stocks, they're mixed. Some are up, some are down, but Microsoft continues to slide. And lastly, Bitcoin remaining steady. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're going to do this for austerity purposes, but you can see we're really in a tight range right here, 1749 to 1763. You know, we did retrace. The dollar did get a little bit stronger. When we look at the more volatile Forex symbols like the GBP USD, you see it a little bit better. That's a much better trade, 137.69 down to 137. That's a 70 pip trade. So that is much more reliable to trade than the Euro USD right now because you're getting more bang for your buck. I mean, to trade 20 pips versus to trade 70 pips makes much more sense to trade 70 pips. The Aussie dollar also retraced versus regarding the dollar getting a little bit stronger here across the board, except for the Rand. The Rand actually getting a lot stronger here. If you look at a 1 hour chart, you could see that ever since we hit for 1537, we got stronger versus the USD. So the Rand actually testing itself versus the dollar. Now when we jump in commodities, pretty much steady, not much going on here. 1800, we did falter that yesterday, but we're still in a very tight range. Crude oil remaining strong at 68.40 as it's pushing a little bit higher on that shelf, but still nothing, no breakout, no above $70, okay? But a nice comeback for the price of oil week to week. Now looking at the Dow Jones, yesterday we sold off from 35,391 down to 35,200, a nice 150 to 200 points, but nothing to really write home about. I mean, Jackson Hole Symposium is really a non-event here. Looking at today, the Nasdaq bouncing after selling off a little bit yesterday. What is important is Microsoft. Microsoft is selling off after hitting that new high of 304, testing below $300 a share. So that's really important. As you can see, we're almost filling the gap here as we gapped up and go. And just that is important to note. Okay, just really important to note. And if we look at a 4-hour chart, we're getting closer to our 30-day moving average, which generally, if you look over time, we've really honored it and bounced off of it every time. So something to consider. Now we look at the individual stocks. Some are trading a little bit more than others. Alcoa retraced a little bit. JP Morgan remained strong at 161. And Amazon continues to gain just very, very modestly in the pairs. So, you know, it's a mixed bag right now. And I don't want to, jump into this aggressively until we have a consensus what's happening in the Jackson Hole Symposium. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, all right, this is where it's important. At 47,000, we're looking at daily here, but if we look at a 4-hour chart, it's nice, okay, which means that it's respecting that 46,900-ish level, not breaking below it and bouncing off of it. So this is a new consolidated area somewhere between the 50,000 and 46, let's say 300-ish level as we're on that bottom range here. So I'd like to see this actually bounce around this area, and we may actually get that if the markets lift themselves. So consider that looking into today's trading. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.